kind of thing. Oh, goodness. The lighting in here is not the best. Oh. So mostly I just wanted to give you all a heads up. Like, one, to live stream, because I said I would do live streams on Tuesday. Not going to be a super long one. I mean, this could honestly be a short, but mostly I just want to say hi. My beloved is off and back, so posting and things be a bit more on schedule this week. It's just a bit more hectic. The flight out landed safely, yay. But I really don't get why the immigration process has to be so bloody time consuming and difficult. I don't get why it has to be so bloody expensive. And I really don't get why we seem to have very little interest in doing the right thing as a nation. I mean, people coming into the southern border by the thousands, but we won't let people come in who want to do it the right way. Uh, I'm not even trying to pick a fight here on this one because I don't care about political ideologies and leanings. I just genuinely don't understand why we seem to be opposed to doing the right thing for each other. Like, both sides talk about wanting to left, right. Hey, I want to do the right thing by other people. Hey, I want to do the right thing by other people. But we don't. Like, I'm not. I just poured out what's on my heart. It seems like a rant. Seems like a rant. But I really don't understand in any way, shape, or form why it is that as a nation, especially the United States, we seem to be hell bent on doing everything we can to say we care, but we won't do anything. I mean, how many people scream about, yay, we finally got rid of abortion, which, I mean, Roe versus Wade, it was a stupid way it was hanging on anyway, because the law it was sitting on. If you want to do a law like that, based it on something a little bit better, I mean, it's, hell, that's just Ruth's argument. But I, what about fixing up the orphanage setup? What about being able to actually take care of the setup so that little kids aren't left without families? I mean, we make the foster system is broken, so horribly broken. How many kids are used for tax write-offs? Say nothing of such horrible brokenness based on the choices we make. It just saddens me because every side of the dice seems to keep landing on choosing destruction. We say we want to help others, but oh, left, right still get involved in human trafficking. We say slavery is bad, yet it's a bigger issue than it ever has been in the history of the world, especially when you count in sex slavery. The core of it, our world is broken, horrifically, horrendously broken, and I think we choose it. That's why I think the Bible is so wonderfully incredible and genuinely terrifying when it comes to the concept of hell. Because this isn't Dante, this is the Bible, and it's pointing out that hell is something we choose actively of our own volition and consistently because we would rather have hell on earth than to do the right thing by others. And that's what saddens me most. Because all too often we spend our time arguing with each other over what's right. You know, Pontius to Jesus, right? What is truth? That understanding, like, no, that's not a rhetorical, that's not a Greek poetic, that's a damn politician that doesn't understand. And I'm not throwing shade at politicians. Granted, I'm not particularly fond of them, but for what it's worth, I thought about doing it in my youth. Being a lawyer or a politician, just going into it because I wanted to make a difference. It's only in watching what happens with the system that I realized if you want to make a difference, something fundamentally there has to change. Lobbyists not being a thing would be an amazing start. Term limits would be incredible. I mean, we have a minimum age, a maximum age seems perfectly fine, especially since the mean age of Congress is what, 70 something. Like, not a whole lot of representation if the majority of the populace isn't being represented. And it's not trying to be ageist in any way, shape, or form. It's like, literally, let's do a wide gambit. Like, let's truly make it representative. It's supposed to be a representative democracy, then let's actually set it up as such. If it's a democratic republic, let's set it up as such. Let's treat it as such. Because this aristocracy that exists by any other name is really starting to get on my damn nerves. Sorry, get on my nerves. I mean, I find bureaucracy borderline demonic anyway because I'm yet to find any kind of. I've seen people who have to deal with bureaucracy act with honor, integrity, decency, kindness, compassion. I've seen people who are in the face of in the face of bureaucracy, act and show on full produce fruit of the spirit, even if they've never stepped into a Christian church. The bureaucracy itself exists to perpetuate itself. We don't do that. We exist for others. When a human exists solely for itself, we call it selfish, wrong, and stupid. If the corporation exists only for itself, would it not be the same? And this is where, like, oh, altruism, like, guys, most of these arguments could be solved if we simply chose to stop being greedy, right? Like, what could you possibly gain in trading your soul for? What does greed possibly get us? Doesn't get us more. End up with less. Because the more you take, the less you have. It's not just a wonderful bumper sticker, it's truth. The more you're holding on to, the less you can receive. The fuller your cup, the less you have room for more. We want everything, but we don't understand what we actually have until it's gone. So we want everything, but we know the value of nothing. And we want nothing, can understand the value of everything. I mean, I'm not trying to throw this down and throw this out and like, oh, here's the instant magic solution, because the truth of it is the only way any of this works is by our lives being surrendered to a concept and a way of doing it, and our lives are not our own. If our focus is me and my tribe, it'll never work, because there are 7 billion plus people on this beautiful little gorgeous orb we have. And if 7 billion of us are deciding to pull a cane, it's a shitload of dead Abels. So, what's the choice? What do we do? Because, I mean, we end up with a shitload of dead Abels. What's that? Civil War, World War III, or Civil War II, World War III. A lot of problems, a lot of destruction, a lot of death, a lot of wasted blood. Too many resources. And I'm not even talking the physical ones or the physical ones. I'm talking people. Lives, history, story, pain. The PTSD, the therapy afterward, the families that won't be whole anymore afterwards, etc. It's too much of a waste. So, if the cane approach doesn't work, how do we do it? Because something's got to give. This shit's stupid. I can't be the. I mean, I know I'm not the only one. Like, oh, well, you're a new take on life. Stupid shit. Clearly not a new take. Clearly not a new take. But what's the answer? What's the solution? If the issue is what we have, brokenness, we need wholeness. If it's a lack of sight, we need to see each other. If it's a lack of understanding, we need to hear each other. The only way anything is ever going to truly change, and I mean truly change, because if you just want to do the same rinse and repeat stupidity of Civil War II, World War III, pick a fine. See Cain, Abel, pick a King's War. I'm not trying to be reductive on this one. It's just war is war. If we want to see something truly changed, then we have to be that change. to show peace. We have to show a different way of doing it, and it involves seeing each other. We have to do this in a way that lets people see they're not alone, that we are not alone. Because if we continue down this path of detachment, if we continue down this path of destruction, it'll be nothing but sticks, stones, and the termites. I asked in jest once, in boldness another time, and in frustration recently, if this is what's going on now, what was going on in Noah's day? And I ask it again. I ask it of everyone who sees this. What do you think was going on in Noah's day? What do you think was going on during the flood that wiped out so much? What kind of insanity was going on there? Because the insanity we've got going on now, it's scary. It's heartbreaking, and it's a little low. We can keep playing this stupid game, and we will continue to win the stupid prize until naught is left but destruction and rot. And humanity is left on a cinder, a stump, a beautiful gem, what's left of what was and could be. Or we can try it a little different. We can try and love each other. We can live in such a way that sees other people first. That recognizes our lives are not our own. We don't make our first breath. We don't control our last. So what if the focus, instead about being all on us, became about everybody else? Not to the point of becoming a doormat. Rather, recognizing what Jesus did. Right there, John 15, 16, 17, that whole beautiful area. Takes off his robe, puts on an apron, washes his students, his disciples, his Talmudians' feet. You call me master, rightly so. The servants don't get better than their master. And what you've seen me do, you do. I came not to serve, but to be served. I'm trying to find the exact thing real quick here. Oh, there we go. Oh, 13, my bad. Before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. He had loved his disciples during his ministry on earth, and now he loved them even to the end. It was time for supper, and the devil had already prompted Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. And Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything, and that he had come from God, and would return to God. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, and wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "If you don't understand now what I'm doing, you don't understand now what I'm doing, but someday you will." "No," Peter protested, "you will never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Unless I wash you, you won't belong to me." Simon Peter explained, "To wash my hands and head as well, Lord, not just my feet." Jesus replied, "A person who is bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet to be entirely clean. And you disciples are clean, but not all of you." For Jesus knew who would betray him. This is what he meant when he said, "Not all of you are clean." After washing their feet, he put on his robe again, sat down, and asked, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because that is what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. I tell you the truth, slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them." It's right there. And I love, just for a moment, he began to wash the... No, where was it? There we go. So, Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything and that he had come from God and would return to God. He knew who he was. We don't know who we are. He knew he was the Son of God. He knows he is the Son of God. When we're believers, we know that too. But do we know who we are? Do we know that we are made for love and for kindness and compassion? Do we know we are made to love others? I mean, I don't have any currently watching, so I don't feel remotely in the bad about responding to my beloved. I will continue my thoughts in but a moment. I mean, nobody's currently watching this, so it's mostly me just giving my thoughts, and I'm just recognizing, if we want it to change, we've got to be the change. If we don't know who we are we going to be willing to live in such a way that shows it? Jesus has all authority. We are in him. You need not worry about authority. It's his, and we are his. He is in us, we are in him. One, united. So we can live in such a way where love is logical. Because if we don't, because if we refuse to love, because if we continue on the path we're on now, there's going to be nothing left but the same. I recognize I slightly misquoted that from King and I. I'm not as super well. Okay, I enjoy musicals, I just didn't go hunting them down a lot. They are quite fun, though. So there's that. If we're not going to love, we don't have a shot. That's the core of it. That's the bitch. That's the rub. If we continue on the path we're on, follow it to its absurd extreme, the internet, the media, they're really good at making the absurd come out. Anyone who sees this, I'm asking you honestly, think about it. Hell, use the Wayback Machine. I admit, never used it myself, but I know it's there. See how long it took between Babylon Bee or some group like it posting something and then it coming true in the media 2 to 3 weeks later. I don't care which direction you do it with, honestly. It's easier going one direction than it is the other, admittedly. But core of it, because it's all fear porn. That's the biggest shit here. That's the biggest thing, and everybody misses entirely. It's all fear porn. Every one of them. If they are working on your ethos, pathos, and logos to sell something, they are actively working to get product out of you or turning you into the product. Why try and do my channel the way I do it? I don't want anything other than people to stop killing each other and this retarded ain't game to end. This shorter than the rest of society watching a creation that is designed to be more beautiful than the stars, be dumber than dirt. That's annoying. That's headache inducing, honestly. You guys were made to do something incredibly beautiful and continually choose. Why do we choose it? Why do we choose it? Fear, anger, hatred, greed, disgust, unease. Why? Why is it easier? I just don't want people to keep killing each other. I'm tired of the loss of human life. I'm tired of the waste. I'm tired of history and stories being snatched from our lives because we couldn't hear each other. That's my want. That's my goal. I don't know what I'm selling. My aim is to sell an idea that maybe we could live in such a way that we actually show we value life. Instead of it being a scars and applause we can wear on our wrists. Humanity is an incredibly beautiful, beautiful species. The choices lately haven't been. The choices we make next, we choose what they'll be. And they will either be beautiful choices that lift up life, or they will be dark choices that continue to deal in death. Blessing or curse. Choice has always been ours. Beauty of free will. The bitch of it is what comes after. So I'm going to leave it here, folks, with this question. What do we choose? What do we choose? Because if we continue down this path, I'll put cinders and fishes. We choose love. We choose light. We choose each other. We choose to worship the Lord by loving others. And in loving others, worship the Lord. See a different world. Continue on the path we are now. See something brighter. Choice is ours. Choice is yours. What do you do with it? I'll see you then.